Great. So, well, welcome everybody to this morning's presentation I will do on food and emotions. And I think it's a very interesting point to discuss a little bit and to explore, because we often not see so clearly the connection between what we eat and emotions we could experience. And there is certainly a very important connection. And I just want to start by saying, which probably we all know but sometimes forget, that everything is energy. Everything is energy. Our body is energy as well. Our body is as a physical, in its physicality, is an energy which vibrates in a much slower pace. Yeah. So it's more dense, and it manifests as reality that we can see. Now, our emotions, they have an expression through our body. However, it's not something. It is also energy, but it is of a different quality, different vibration. And also our thoughts. Our thoughts are also a form of energy, and it's much faster vibration. That's why we can think so fast. We can travel with our minds to where we were yesterday, and what happened to us when we were kids. Yeah. So this is the fast capacity of the mind, and in comparison, the body, to manifest something, it takes time. Yeah. But the thing is, everything is energy, and also what we take in our bodies as foods, as drinks, is also a form of energy. And this is very clearly seen with very extreme foods, which we are going to look at. So if we think about alcohol, we might not even consider it as a food, but it comes from plants. So you could say it's a plant-based product, yeah? Or also chocolate, very clear the effect, or sugar, very clear the effect. And so in that realm of extreme foods, we understand. But what about what is in between, yeah? What about a carrot or an apple? Is there a difference? Rice, white rice or brown rice, is there a difference? And so when we come into those other foods, we don't see, we don't understand, we haven't been told. However, there is a difference. So if I say now, what do you crave for? What is it that when you have a craving for food, you go for? You go to the kitchen, what do you get? You get a bit of salad? Do you get a carrot or a bit of cabbage? Yeah, some noodles? No, we all know what we go for when we have the craving. Oh, so what is it? Why is it everybody? I don't even need to mention what is it that we go for. Most likely would be a cup of coffee, yeah, a piece of chocolate, a cake, a sweet, maybe some crisps. Yeah, we all have our favorites. So yeah, so this is what we go for, because they have a very specific energy, and they produce a very quick effect in our body. That's what it is. So if you see me looking, I'm looking at my notes. I'm going to share some notes as we go along, but I also want to start by seeing you all, to have some contact, even if it's online media. So we could say that we have different bodies, and this is very clear also from Buddhist teachings, from yoga teachings: a physical body, a mental body, an emotional body. In yoga, I talk about the different koshas, even a spiritual body, even a bliss body. Yeah, it doesn't have very a physicality, but it exists. And all these different layers of our existence, they have needs. So how do we satisfy these needs? This is very important. So very often, and this is where the food and emotions comes as a theme, very interesting theme, is that we satisfy an emotional need with a physical food. And perhaps what we need is to satisfy it with something else. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt, but I'm getting a little messages, so I'm gonna stop my phone so I don't get these beeps, and I don't get them either. That's it. So yeah, we have emotional needs often satisfied with physical foods, and even mental needs also often satisfied with foods. And we need to think that perhaps there are other ways to satisfy these needs. So in order to do that, we need to develop an energetic knowledge of foods. I will share one image now. So let's see. Okay, so this I talk about our needs, and also about emotion. Yes, because emotion is energy in motion. In many languages, it's the same word, the same root. In Spanish, is emoción, so it's the same like emotion. In French, is émotion, and I'm sure if we go to all the other languages in Europe that share roots, we will come to the same. So it's an energy in movement, energy in motion. Different emotions create different energies. Yeah, we know what is our physical movements or the posture. If we think about an angry person, or a fearful person, or a happy or sad person, so there is a different manifestation of an emotion in physicality. So now I'm going to pass more to also to understand what is the relationships because we create the relationship with foods. And what do we eat for? Do we eat because we are hungry? Do we eat because we are lonely? Do we eat because we had a bad day? Do we eat because we want to have a taste in our mouths? So we have different ways, different relationships to food. And I have kind of simplified them in 3 categories, like intellectual, emotions, and senses. Very much we go for the senses as a pleasure, as a sensation. So we go for taste and texture and color. And so we know what colors we want to see on the plate and what textures we want to feel in the mouth. So this is going to make us decide what to eat for pleasure, for sensation. But we might choose something for emotional reasons. Maybe there is a feeling that we have, yeah. Maybe we feel a bit down, or maybe we want to feel more open and sociable when we go out. Or emotions might also be referring to we get together and this is what we always eat. Yeah, this is a party or it's a family reunion or celebration. We always eat this food in this family celebration. Yeah, it doesn't matter how I feel personally, whether it's gonna suit me or not, but this is what we eat. Yeah, and of course we create habits. So I always take this for morning, no matter what is going on outside in the world or what happened yesterday. And I see food as something we need to create a different relationship with and modulate it and use it and change it. And we might also even eat for intellectual reasons, because we just read an article and they were talking about how good, I don't know what it be, coconut oil is. And then so I go to the shop, I buy the coconut oil, and from then on it's in my kitchen. So I have this understanding. Or because they tell me eat so many calories a day, so I'm counting. Or you need to have so much protein. So I'm actually deciding because some scientific or intellectual reason, not because of a real need of my body or for an energetic reason. Do you agree with that? Do you sense that this is so often the case? So I'm just kind of displaying some ideas to understand more what is our relationship with food, because we eat 3 times a day. You know, it's basic to human life. What do we eat? So yeah, so what are the effects of foods in our body? We eat 3 times a day, every day, sometimes more than 3 times a day. And we understand from, you know, from herbalism that if you have this ailment, take this plant, take this herbal concoction, and you'll be fine. Yeah. But we don't understand it so much when it comes to food. Yeah, when it comes to food, it's like, okay, I have a cold, but I just will continue eating the same way. Yes. Or, you know, what to say? Yes, I feel very weak energetically, or I don't have energy, but I'll just continue with the same. And we don't change that. And maybe instead we go to the doctor and they give us a drug, and but we haven't changed something very basic. And this is what I said before. What is the difference between a carrot, an apple, or a piece of meat, or a glass of water, or a coffee? And I could add another layer. How do you cook this carrot? What do you do with it? This is also going to affect. Are you going to put it in the oven, or you steam it, or make a soup? Yeah, or eat it raw? This will also change the effect in your body. Because it changes the vibration. We add an element. We add the element of fire to foods that we cook with, and we change. Because why? Because fire is alchemical. Fire creates transformation, and we understand all that in much more. If we talk about it's even a spirituality, you know, the powers of things, of nature. And when it comes to food, it's almost like we have a gap in our understanding. So yeah, different vibrations, different expression. Same like I'm angry, I make a face. I'm sad, I make another. Yeah, different vibrations, different expressions, physically, emotionally, and mentally. So if I'm saying this, you could ask me, okay, so if I want to relax, what do I eat? Or if I want to feel a bit warmer, or if I'm feeling cold, what's happened? Or if I feel hyperactive, or if I want to cleanse my body. So do we know what foods can have those effects? And sometimes we have an idea, and sometimes no idea. Maybe I'll make a little pause here, so I don't go on too much talking, and you can share anything or ask a question. Is it clear what I'm presenting? Yeah? Okay, good. So I'll continue then. Again, I'm gonna share this. And okay, here we go with this. What in us, yeah? What needs to eat and who needs to eat? Is my heart that needs the food, or is it my body that needs the food? Yeah? And who needs the love? Mm? And who needs to pray or meditate? And you know what? So it's different layers of our being. And for me, it's learning to guide them from a higher place, you know, from a place in yourself that knows better and that deep down really knows. Yes, really knows what is needed. And of course, when you start to go into that understanding and in this questioning, then we really touch much more also our core. And then to come to understand our relationship to food and how we can change it becomes personal development, becomes personal growth. Because perhaps I have to attend my very personal needs, human needs, that I might be not meeting in order to change my eating habits and make them more healthy. Or I might have to change a life situation, or even my job. Yes, so the implications are really, really wide. So yeah, we have these three levels of existence. And as I said before, with the mental and emotional, we very often compensate those needs with foods. Because we have like a quick effect, a kind of few hours perhaps break. Yeah, and it's almost seems to be enough so I can bear the thing and continue without making the long-lasting changes. What happens is in the process, I might be damaging my health, and I'm thinking short-term rather than long-term. So any attempt I have to strengthen my body, to cleanse or to nourish or to bring more lightness is gonna need an action in the emotional and in the mental realms of my existence as well. And this is, it's good to understand. And the physical imbalance to be manifested has needed years to develop. It's not just something I had yesterday, I ate yesterday, or something I did yesterday, in my lifestyle, or if for the last 2 weeks. Yes, it could be like, it could be like a little diarrhea because there was some food poisoning. So that's very, very clear reason. But otherwise, it takes years because the manifestations in the physical body are slow and they take time. So I am creating them through years of how I live my life. And very often then I expect our allopathic system, doctors, to give me a remedy that so tomorrow is gone. And almost it's like we expect that from this system. It's like it's not working. And we don't think about what has been necessary, what have I done to create this condition. So very important. Then we fall into the need for consciousness, the need for understanding, the need for responsibility, and not just handing it over to a medical system that then it cannot do what we need. Okay, I'm gonna pass into a more practical matter, and I'm going to explain to you about 2 types of food. This is based on traditional Chinese medicine, macrobiotic nutrition, and we're going to look at 2 categories of food that they are yin and yang. So yang foods, and they are both necessary. Nothing here is evil. Nothing is bad. It's like in the planet, there's nothing bad. It's only in excessive amounts. The same in our human nature and behaviors and conditions and anything. Nothing is bad. So in a way, we need to sort of remove the judgment. Because what we're looking is always for balance. So yang foods and yin foods is the 2 main categories. And so yang foods, they tend to be foods that contract. And I am just mentioning the ones that we tend to go more as cravings, because this is what I'm concentrating on, these cravings, these emotions that we want. So salt, snacks, fried foods, meat, cheese, cookies, pizzas, eggs. All these foods have a contracting effect in our bodies. In a average dose is fine, but if I increase this the intake, then it becomes too much of it. And what is going to happen is going to create rigidity, tension, pressure, blockages. And somebody eating too much meat, too much saturated fat is going to block the arteries eventually. Too much salt is going to affect the heart. So one of the first things, high blood pressure, reduce your salt intake. Why? Pressure, high pressure, reduce salt. Let's just start to make connections on some things we hear a lot about, but we haven't made the connection really, like. And if I continue with this, with excess of foods, I can become close. And it's a form of creating limits, or also stopping the feeling. Because if I saturate myself, if I block, if I contract, then I don't allow communication. There is no feeling. If I saturated fats, if I put on more flesh body that I actually need, I'm even creating a protection between me and the environment. So then I have to go to the more personal aspect, and so why am I creating this protection? What do I want to protect? Yeah. So of course, then we could go about talking, okay, what is balance? Yeah, what is a balanced amount of snacks? What is a balanced amount of cheese? Yes. Salt is super healthy. I'm not saying don't eat salt. Sea salt, because refined salt is not good. Please always check for sea salt. So it is necessary. Is another alchemical aspect in our kitchen. But of course, too much of it, and too much refined salt, and snacks every day, fried foods once a week is okay. But your usual dinner and meats every day, if you were hunting for meat, you wouldn't eat it every day. Like in the olden days, it would be something quite, it would be an occasion. Cheese also, yeah. And what happens with cookies and pizzas and all that is a lot of oven and refined flours. They congest our system. Yeah. Do you have any questions before I go on to the other list? No? Okay. Yes, there is somebody? Okay, I stop this share.
Thanks. You said about flour can congest your system.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Can you say a bit more, please?
Okay. So flour is is a processed food, you could say. Not as processed as other things, but it comes from a grain that has been make into a powder, so you can do other things with it. Yeah. And especially if the flour is white, is refined, it becomes a carbohydrate of a much less quality than a whole grain flour. And it's not so easy to process in our guts. It can create mucus. Too much of it becomes a little bit sticky in our intestines, especially for people that have digestive problems. Somebody's asking, what about sourdough bread? Yes, also, because there is two things. Is the flour, is the oven, the time in the oven is very energetically, is very strong. It's very drying process. And so this quality, this energy that is placed into the bread as it's made, it kind of continues to exist in your body when you eat it. And so this is the step we have to make. This continues to exist as a quality, as an energy into our system. Also, what happens now with the yeast that are used are mostly chemical yeast. And they are chemical agents that raise, they expand the bread. And so this quality continues to happen in our body as we eat it. They expand the intestines, they expand the... If it's good yeast of good quality, it's very different. And it's 12 hours, rice in the bread. A lot of the quick actions in our daily life, it's for cooking are damaging. Yeah, so sourdough bread would be the same. Okay, from most of my teachers in macrobiotics and the readings I've done and the research is 1 or twice a week bread is okay, but as an everyday food, often like even twice a day, breakfast and lunch, and even sometimes at dinner, because it's so convenient and it's crunchy and it's tasty and it's easy. Yeah. And that's when we come also with the, with the habits, with the attachment, with the association, and with our lifestyle. Yeah. Good. Shall I continue with the list of the yin? So let's see. So here we go, and really go to the other opposite. We go to the opposite, and in terms of the effect. So we go with sugar and chocolate and coffee and alcohol, fruit juice, drugs, all this. And what do they? What is the energy? What is the effect they have in our body? So, and this, if you start to think, by experience what it does to you. So they are more relaxing. They're more about dispersing. Yeah. If you go out with friends and you want to relax, when you take a little bit of alcohol, you are not gonna have a herbal tea. Yes. So also, if you want some kind of stimulation, you would take coffee. So it's like, it opens your eyes. It makes you even more social. You want to engage more as well. So I've put here the main ones, the ones that create the cravings. So a little bit of relaxation is okay, but every day I always need it. Not being able to relax without it. Not be able to open up without it is already saying something about, my strong need for this. So if I continue, if I go into extreme, then I can, it's like if I drink too much, I come out of control. I started just wanting to open up a little bit, and then I was all over the place. I don't remember what I did. Or I may have a coffee because I want some stimulation, but then I take too much, and then I cannot even do anything. I'm jumping all over the place. So I'm again mentioning the extremes because they help us to understand. And also even no feeling of pain, as they really have a dispersing quality. Again, we go to no feeling. Yeah, no feeling. We can create no feeling with the yang foods and no feeling with the yin foods. Similarly. So something is going on, something has happened at work, I'm really upset, and I'm just gonna, maybe I'll go out and I'll have a coffee and a good cake. And for that while, it's like it's lessened this problem or this situation. Yeah. But then this is very short term, and then an hour later I'm back to square one, and I've just added now a lot of work to my body to deal with this extra amount of sugar and extra amount of caffeine. Yeah. So if I take it to the extreme, I won't escape reality. Yeah. And so this is I find this a very good way of seeing now energetically what is the effect. And it's not an illusion, it's not a vague idea, it's very concrete and very clear. So what does our physical body need? Yeah, because our emotional body, this is for you to explore what it needs at your mental body. And of course, a good nutrition, a good nourishment of the physical body is going to affect the emotional body and the mental body, because it's the foundation. So it needs natural, simple foods, good quality from the earth, as fresh as possible, as cooked fresh. Just to make it very simple. And you all agree to this, so I'm not saying anything new. We've all heard this. Sometimes it just kicks in, yeah, as a difference. And what we don't want and what the body doesn't need, really doesn't need it, is processed food, artificials, coloring agents, additives, sugar, stimulants. They are really toxic. The thing is, it's so much part of our culture about the way we relate with others, the way we relate with foods, that is taken just as something normal. But they're intoxicating. They're toxins for the body. So I just put it this way, very simply, is toxic. And the body needs to do a lot of work to manage that. Let me see what I have in the next one. Okay, I have here a chart for what would be your ideal main meal. So at least once a day, one ideal main meal. Of course, it would take me longer to go through more details, but I just wanted to mention this. So we need a good amount of whole meal grains, about 40–50%. We need about 30–40% vegetables, 15–20% protein. I'm just talking, for example, a good lunch. Yeah. If in your dinner you don't have all these ingredients, or in your breakfast, it's okay, but on one meal. And then I have something left for the oils, the salt, the nuts, the seeds, sea vegetables. And then I'm covering all my nutritional needs or my physical needs, which will also support my concentration, my stable energy. And of course, if I have an emotional issue, I will still have it, but I have a stronger base from where to deal with it. Do you have any questions? Anything to share? To ask? Is it becoming something clear? Yeah.
What would be the best whole grain examples?
Okay, so we have good variety. So brown rice, excellent grain. You have millet, a wonderful also grain, shorter cooking time, and a lot of protein, very low glycemic index. Yeah, we're always looking for glucose being released steadily, so we don't have ups and downs. Quinoa, also very good. Buckwheat as well. None of these have gluten, yeah. And then barley has a little bit of gluten. Wheat, of course. But yeah, that's and this is something that is normally missing in our diets. We take to, we use the bread as a form of bringing grain, but this is not so good as it could be a whole grain. A whole grain, and I'll say this, and is a seed of life. We are looking for food that is still alive. We are alive. We want to feed ourselves with things that have life, or as close to life as they can be, as much as possible, knowing that sometimes it's difficult. Yeah. So foods vegetables that are fresh, nuts and seeds are seeds of life. You put them in the ground, they grow. Grains, they grow. They can grow. They have a lot of huge potential within themselves, and that's what brings nourishment to us. And then, of course, then we have to learn the good cooking ways, yeah, because we want our body to be able to absorb. If the body cannot absorb, then good. So I continue a little bit more. Is it? And I'm going to share again, because I think when you see it, you can start to also. Let's see if I can. Okay, so this was the last one. Yeah. So I'm actually now showing you what happens when we are lacking things, and here's when we go again to emotions. Yeah, emotions, and what are the cravings? So if I'm lacking whole grains, this means I'm needing carbohydrates. What is carbohydrate? Okay, this is the fuel. This is your fuel, your energy for all cells to function. The body doesn't run on vitamins from the fruits. The body doesn't even run on the vegetables, even if it's hugely important part of our diet. The body runs on the fuel from carbohydrates, or from all the grains. Yeah. So what happens if I'm not having enough? I'm talking negative effect. What I mean, if I'm lacking, what happens? So I'm not having enough energy. What may happen? That because my energy is not sustained, I will want to go and have a quick carbohydrate that gives me a quick lift. In the form of maybe I'll take some pastry or some chocolate, a cake, something that has the carbohydrate that they have is of less quality, but the glucose is released much faster into the system. So I get a little high, a lot of work for the body, and then drops. And then 2 hours later, I need. So it's this thing, you are a bit hungry, but I take a cookie. 5 minutes, I need another one. I need another one. I'm still hungry. Yeah. So what if I'm lacking in protein? Because we might be lacking in protein. Yeah. So I might go for a whole lot of foods. I might go for chocolate, or for nuts, or for seeds, or crisps, or cheese, or bread. So you see, I go to the foods that I should avoid. I go to the foods that I take occasionally. And what if I'm lacking minerals? Very common to lack minerals nowadays. Very negative effects on the circulatory and nervous system, on the bones, on the alkalinity of the blood. So what happens? I'm going to go for salty foods because salt has minerals. But I might not realize I'm not using sea salt, and I try to keep replenishing minerals with something that is not giving it. Good quality vegetables, they should have minerals. But now with the use of so much pesticides and very growing methods for vegetables, the soils are losing their strength and their mineral content. So a good source of minerals is the sea vegetables. Not so much used in these countries or in Europe. A lot, very often used in China and Japan and other Asian countries. Yes, so what if this is very good one. What if I'm lacking root and round vegetables? Like pumpkins, carrots, parsnips, all those earthy, we know these earthy vegetables, yeah? They give a sweetness. This is very interesting. They give a sweetness, a natural sweetness. And why do we need the sweet? Again, because it helps us to relax. Is that from the list of the yin foods? The yin helps us to relax, and we all want to relax in this crazy society we live. Now is coronavirus, and tomorrow something else, and yesterday was something different. So a lot of stresses, and of course we want to relax. So if I'm lacking these vegetables in my diet, I might go for artificial sweetness. And I'm just also going to mention the last one. What if I'm lacking greens? This is also very important. The lacking green vegetables, fresh vegetables. And I'm not just talking about, cucumbers and salad. Yeah, this won't give me what I need. For a start, cucumbers are summer, or just for summer. They grow in the summer, and salads also mostly better for summer. So if I'm lacking greens, I'm needing fresh foods. I'm needing light cooking. What does it give me, the green? It gives me the chlorophyll. And this is very interesting point. The chlorophyll and the hemoglobin, yeah? So like say, the blood of humans and the blood of plants, it has the same chemical, is like this, exactly the same molecule. The only difference is that in the chlorophyll, the central atom is magnesium, and in humans, the blood is iron. And it's almost like a perfect match to nourish and create good blood. We are like brothers and sisters there in chlorophyll and hemoglobin. So yes, I said it's not enough with a salad or a bit of cucumber or a broccoli that we've boiled it for 30 minutes and it's gone, all the power is gone. And liver needs this energy to cleanse the body and to function well. So it's more that eat your greens because it's healthy, but who needs them in the body? This is also very interesting. Chinese medicine, they make all these connections between emotions, organs, seasons. Yeah. Who needs them? It's the liver, especially. Of course, it's the blood. But the liver needs them because it stimulates the liver to cleanse, and it helps the liver to function well. And what does the liver do in your body? Maybe we know about help us to digest fats. Yeah. So that's one thing. So if we're taking too much fats, a lot of work for the liver. Yeah. Other thing it does is the main organ for purification, for detoxing, for getting rid of the toxins we intake. How we take them in, sometimes they are in the environment, but sometimes it's not eating the right foods. What I said before, all this food intoxicate the body. Who is clearing them out? The liver. Are you nourishing your liver? Yes or no? Then that's so the liver gets blocked and cannot do its work. It really cannot do the work with saturated fats, too much salt and alcohol. It's like it blocks it. It's like, hey guy, you've just really given me the wrong stuff. I can't function with this. I'll do my best. Bear with me. But you better give me a bit less of this. And the good thing is that eating green releases tension, irritation, and aggression, because it relaxes the liver. Yeah, you can just imagine a colleague that is like overworked and is doing a lot and it cannot deal with that. Is it going to be happy, smiling? Or is it going to be tense and might reply to you back in a bad way and might be aggressive at times? Great. So I think this is what I wanted to present, to give you a picture of our different needs at the different levels, and the way we are compensating with foods to meet these needs, and to bring a little bit more awareness and consciousness to our choices when we eat things, because it's really a lot about consciousness and awareness. Do you have any questions, any comments? Feel free to share anything.
She's asked a wee question, what are sea vegetables?
Okay, yes. What are sea vegetables? So, sea vegetables, Alex is showing you something. What does he have? He have kelp. He have roast kelp strips. Yeah. So these are vegetables that come from the sea. Yeah. You know, if you have sushi, there are little rolls. This is nori. This is a sea vegetable. It's perhaps one of the most used because it's quite versatile. But then you have other forms of sea vegetable. You have wakame. If you go to an organic store, have a look. Wakame, kombu, Hilary's going, or thank you for joining. Wakame, kombu, hisiki, arame. Alex? Yeah, you can open the mic. We will, go ahead.
There is a tradition around the British coastline. Welsh have it a lot, and the Irish use seaweed in foodstuffs. And I think the potential for seaweed is great. However, like everything else, to be mindful of where it's sourced. Is if people talk about mussels and shellfish, you don't want to have a polluted area, and it's the same for the packet I showed there is from a Chinese supermarket near me, so they are available. But depending on the source. But there's a great tradition of it that's been lost really from the coastline of this country, and I know probably in around the coast of Spain, Portugal, and everywhere else.
Yeah, in Spain there is a lot coming from Galicia, from the north. Good producers of sea vegetables. But really, wherever there is coastline, there has to be sea life and sea vegetables.
Yeah.
So it's something nice to have a look and find out how you can include a little bit in your diet. Was there something that's Who wanted to speak?
I was just wondering sort of where like aubergines and red peppers sort of sat in the spectrum, because they're not green, are they? So you know, where do they sit?
Yeah, this is a very good question, because I can tell you where they sit. Because this list I show you of yang and yin, we could extend it, but I just limited to show you the cravings.
Yes.
But we would actually have them on the yin category.
Okay.
We could also have a category which is in the center, but this would be for another talk. which would be what we can eat daily, and we want to eat daily with no problem at all. It's not going to have a disadvantage, yes, but these are the nightshades, these vegetables: tomatoes, peppers, aubergines, and potatoes. They are quite controversial. This, you can look more into it if you want. From the macrobiotic point of view, they are not recommended, because they can have a lot of toxicity, which often tends to block the joints, tends to accumulate in the joints. Now, because the ways agriculture works, you can easily buy aubergines in January, but you will never grow them in January. It's a really real summer vegetable, same as tomatoes, same as peppers. So yeah.
So
have them in the summer, not the best. Yeah. They don't have a lot of nutrition also. They have fiber, it's good, but energetically they are yin. They grow in a bush, they are not so close to the earth. They grow at night. They need the sun, but they grow in the night. That's when they expand. The night is yin time, so they become more yin vegetables.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Another interesting.
Yeah. That's a very interesting one.
Yeah, it would. I mean, I would love it if you did a talk on what are the things in the middle.
Yeah.
At some point.
Well, we can look at that with Kay, see if how long the online program is going, and
sure. Yeah.
I think you make a good point to eat when in the season, and the taste, even just taking away yin and yang, the taste of something that's growing in season and locally is very delicious. Yeah, so
absolutely.
Everything.
I think the other. Oh, sorry. I was going to say, I think the other point that you made was about how you cook the foods, because I think people often underestimate that. You know, they buy healthy, fresh, and then they fry it, as you say, or, you know, so I hadn't quite appreciated as much about that. So that was really helpful to think about how we cook the foods, and the fact that you're saying fresher is better, you know, so I presume raw foods are probably much better for us. Is that sort of a fair kind of?
Depends, because sometimes, if you think about cooking is bringing fire to foods. Normally, there are other ways of processing foods, but the main one we use is fire. And sometimes we need to bring fire because we need this energy in our bodies, especially in the winter. In the winter, you need to bring fire energy in your body because it's cold outside. You need to create a robustness. You need to keep your hara, your energetic and vital center is strong. So if at that time of the year you give it a lot of salads, you are putting the fire down. You are throwing a bucket on the fire that you want to keep going. It's a fire for digestion, but it's a fire for your for temperature. It's a fire that is needed for all the metabolic reactions. Yeah, I mean, this is the beauty of seeing it this way. You see it as something alive. You make the connections with things you've experienced, you know, like in nature, and so you start to have a much more normal and natural relationships with how you can create health in your kitchen. So yeah, fresh is good. I mean, fresh as opposed to frozen, for instance. You know, I buy frozen peas or frozen spinach. When the life was happening, a long time gone, and then it's gone into freezing. Yeah, that's total yin. Yeah, complete coldness. It's gone through that energy process. I may heat it and make a stew and make a soup with it, but it's gone through that process. Energetically, it's gone through it. So this is going to affect the quality, the energetic quality. I'm not talking even about taste. The taste might be the same, but the energetic quality. And I'm come back to, we are all energy. We are pure energy.
So in terms of like locking in the nutrition, because that's what they argue, isn't it? So if you buy frozen vegetables, it's the nutrition aspect has been locked in, and it's actually better for you. Some people argue.
Yeah, I mean, it's a way of preserving. It's a way of preserving, and yes, you keep some nutrition, but then we go into, you know, when I was talking about what is our relationship with food? Are we having an intellectual relationship, a feeling relationship, or what was the other one? I can't remember. Yeah, so I'm having an intellectual relationship, but not an energetic. So intellectually, yes, I'm keeping more vitamins. Of course, it's better than nothing. But if I have two choices, I go for something that hasn't gone through, that hasn't been frozen.
Yes, so it's better than nothing.
Yeah, if this is my only choice, then I'll take this choice. Yeah. Good. Good. Was there something that struck you, like it's like, wow, I never thought that. It's be interesting to
all of it, really.
all of it. Wow, that's good then. If I've brought some sense of also curiosity and
yeah, definitely.
The part that I kind of really loved, that it was something that I think I knew. Well, I definitely knew it, but it was just the way you put it across, was the fact that we're feeding our emotional part of our body with food rather than love.
yeah.
And that's just such a simple way to put it. And I knew that it was like emotional eating. And
Yes.
it's quite well known, but just the fact that we're instead of with love, we're doing it with food, and how actually that's not going to do anything. It's a short-term kind of comfort thing rather than an actual thing that we need and is going to nourish.
Yeah.
It's just such a wow.
Yeah, you're right. It's short term, and I totally understand it. You know, I don't judge it. So if you are in that, any of you, or you know of somebody who you could put in that place, in that category, it's like nothing, you know, nothing to judge. It's an attempt to meet a need. And then if you start to develop an awareness, if you want to grow, and then see how, what else you can do. To do might not be, might actually see how I can meet this love, or what is, yeah. Because there is also something, in Chinese medicine, the earth element is the one connected with the sweetness. The earth is the sweetness. We explore the different elements: metal, wood, water. So the earth is the sweetness, and the earth is the love as well. And the earth is the mother, the one that cares, the one that looks after, the one that provides, the one that is always there. Yeah, it's not, and it's connected with the sweetness, with this natural sweetness I was talking about. When we start to refine, when we leave away the foods in the extremes, we start to refine as well our palate, and we start to savor more things. And you, at the beginning, you would think, I don't find sweet this. But if you move away from the extremes, you start to find sweetness. And then you start to find the natural sweetness, rather than having to rely on something very artificial. Or not so artificial, because you could say, oh, honey is natural, but it's quite extreme as a food. Yeah. So, food for thought.
That was really amazing, Inalu. Thank you so much. I suppose I just want to open up and ask, is there any kind of last questions before we start to finish the session? No? Good. Everyone's
not a question so much, Kay. Just you were talking about sort of cravings and foods, and I actually had what I would say was a very positive experience. And if I can quickly explain, I was going to a herbalist because I was having stomach issues, and when I started to describe some of the foods that I was craving, it was fascinating. She immediately said, "You need to go to the doctor and get this checked." And it was almost like my body was telling me through food, but I didn't understand it. So, I think this has been really interesting, just to remind us about the relationship of food and our body. So thank you so much. Really interesting.
Yeah, thanks, Irene. Yeah.
thank you so much. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I wish you all a good journey and some little bit of reflection on where I get the sweetness from, and what is my relationship to food? How can I improve it and create health? Really, create health for your life. And I also do consultations and courses online. So if you are interested, you can get in contact with me. Yeah.
Thank you.
And I'll make sure to add your details onto the YouTube and social media post as well, so that, but if anyone does have questions directly for Inalu and is struggling to find those details, just get in touch with the Dana Koja office, and they'll direct it to me, and I'll help out with anything I can, or just passing your details on to Inalu as well. So and just thank you, Inalu. What a gift today has been. You've done so many sessions for our programme, and it's just a gift each time, of such generosity. So thank you.
Thank you,
Inalu. Thank you, Kay.
Thank you all.
Thank you. And just to say, the online programme will keep running. We'll have sessions, a variety of sessions each week, and I'll speak to the lovely Inalu to see what else she'd like to do.
Okay, we'll do that.
Lovely.
Yeah.
If you have any requests, send them on.
Yeah, send them on. Yeah, definitely.
Bye.
And the online programme is nothing without the people attending and being part of it. So thank you everyone who's came today, and also thank you everyone who will maybe watch later on YouTube as well. And thank you, Inalu, again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well.
Happy
Lots of
Friday,
love
everyone.
to you.
Yeah, stay well, stay safe.
Thank you. Bye.